Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our chair yoga practice for today. And if you haven't already done so, let's have our blocks, our strap, our therapy balls, and have those things ready for us for our practice. Let's come seated towards the front of our chair. Finding our seated mountain pose. Stacking the spine, leveling the pelvis right to left, front to back. Closing the eyes, observing the breath. Setting aside the things that happened prior to our class this morning. Observing the breath. Observing how the breath is flowing today, how it's moving. And perhaps doing a quick scan of the body and identifying any areas that may need a little extra attention during our practice today. May feel a bit tight or congested. And once we've identified those areas, perhaps you can just give them a little extra attention as we move through our practice. And remembering as well to adjust your practice to the level that's appropriate for you today. You may also wish to set an intention for your practice at this point. The intention can be very simple, or that intention might be to focus your practice into that area that you identified at the start of the practice as needing a little bit of special attention today. Now, deepening in the breath and evening out the flow between our inhale and our exhale breath. I haven't given you a count to balance the flow of the breath out for quite a while. So today we'll go back to that count just to guide you in evening out the flow of the breath. So inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 3, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 3, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, or 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 2, 3, 4. Lengthening our exhale. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 3, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Further lengthening our exhale. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 3, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now let's do 4 complete rounds with that extended exhale, but at our own time and our own pace. Inhale. Exhale. Opening your eyes and coming back to our seated mountain pose. Let's take a quick look down towards the feet. Set the feet about hip distance apart and feel the connection between the feet and the floor. Lift the arches. Feel that line of energy from the lifted arches come up the inner leg. Come now to the contact between the sit bones and the edge of the chair. Make sure you've got that good strong contact, and then think of the spine, each vertebrae stacking one on the next, all the way up the neck, all the way up through the lumbar spine, through the thoracic spine, and through the cervical spine to the skull. Visualize the vectors, the lines of energy moving down into the seat of the chair as gravity pulls the body down towards the earth, and then that rebounding up to the top of the head of the energy, as it almost, think of it as a reflection of the energy coming back up through the spine to the top of the head. Breathing here, let's bring the arms to the side. Raise one arm. Start with the left. Come back down. Right. Left. Right. Left. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Come back to the side. Now let's raise the right arm and the left leg. So right, left for 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. Come back briefly, check in with your seated mountain pose. Now raise the arms to the side, parallel with the floor, take them overhead and draw them back to heart center. Raise up for 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, and 6, and 6. Let's set those blocks adjacent to the ankles. And always handy to have the blocks available for the first couple of times we go into a forward fold, just until we establish that full range of motion for our forward fold. Inhale the arms overhead and exhale, fold over the legs, coming onto the blocks or the floor. Breathe here. Inhale, come all the way up, and let's draw the hands back to heart center. Let's begin to warm up the body now, starting or continue to warm up the body. And we're going to start with the neck. So we're going to take the chin into the notch of the collarbones for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring the chin back to neutral. Take the chin to the right shoulder. Come through center and up on the left side. Through center and up on the right. Through center and up on the left. Through center, up on the right. Left. Right. Left. And right. One more time to the left. And one more time to the right. Bring the head back to center. Stretch the right fingertips down to the floor. Bring the left fingertips above the right ear and stretch or move the left ear towards the left shoulder. Again, we're not tugging on the head. We're just gently letting the weight of the arm lengthen the muscles at the side of the neck. To help us lengthen those muscles, we're first going to press now the head into the resistance of the fingers and then let go and see if that allows that muscle to just relax a bit more. Let's press and relax and press and relax. Bring the head back to center. Release the left hand towards the floor. Stretch the left fingertips down towards the floor. Bring the right fingers above the right fingers above the left ear and stretch Press the left fingertips towards the floor. Let the weight of the arm gradually lengthen the muscles down the side of the neck. And now press the side of the head into the hands and release. Press in and release. And press in and release. Bring the head back to center. Release the fingertips down. Let's take a nice deep breath in and then sigh the exhale out through the mouth. Let's begin now let's stretch the fingertips out towards the side of the room. And before we start to wrap the arms around to bring the hands onto the shoulder blades, try to slide the shoulder blades down the back, any amount. So think of that, the triangular shoulder blades, and that lower tip of the shoulder blade is moving down towards the waist. Open the fingers back. So the thumb points to the wall behind you, and then take the palm to the wall behind you. Let's go the other way and back. Come back to neutral. Take the right arm over the left and walk the fingertips around onto the shoulder blades. Breathe here. And see if we can bring the fingertips to the opposite palm. And the option here, pull the sit bones back with the seat of the chair and tilt the body forward over the legs. Inhale, come back to center. Unwind the arms. Take the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Stretch the fingertips out. Reach, 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 reach. But we're reaching, the shoulder blades are actually coming in while our fingertips are reaching out. This time we're going to take left over right. See if we can walk the fingertips onto the shoulder blades and use the arms and the fingers to peel the shoulder blades away from the spine. Great job, everybody. I think that all our work on shoulders is starting to keep them some more range there. Now let's bring the fingertips to the opposite palm. Lengthen the spine, feel each vertebrae of the spine stacking one on the next as we once again fold the upper body over the legs, coming into a half eagle. Inhale, draw the body back to center. Unwind the arms, take the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Come back to our seated mountain pose. And let's take one full breath here in through the nose and then exhale with a sigh through the mouth. Inhale. Hands on the thighs. Let's move on to our cat-cow pose. Inhale, lift the sternum. Let the spine arc forward. And then exhale, let the spine round towards the back of the chair. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. And then the next inhale, come to a neutral spine. Let's take the hands down towards the side. If you have your weights handy, you can just add the weights here to just bring a little extra strengthening and resistance to this, our lateral movements of the spine. Inhale, exhale, take the right fingertips down towards the floor. Rise through center on the inhale, and then exhale, stretch the left fingertips down towards the floor. Through center for 2. Through center for 2. Through center for 3. 3. 4. 4. 5. 5. And 6. And 6. This time, and if you have weights, you may want to set them aside. This time, as we come down for 7, bring the other arm over. 7. 7. 8. 8. 9. 9. 10. 10. 11. 11. And 12. And 12. Let's come back to center. Bring the hands back onto the thighs. Inhale, exhale. Let's take the left hand to the outside of the right thigh and twist around to our right side. Think of that spine being aligned all the way up, and each of the vertebrae just taking a part of that twist as we move towards our right side. Inhale, exhale, come back through center, and let's twist now in the opposite direction. Inhale, exhale, come back to center. Let's take one cat-cow move now. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to our neutral spine, interlace the fingers. Come around the right knee, the right shin. And let's draw that right shin in towards, our right knee towards the right shoulder. You'll likely find that you're starting to roll towards the back of the sit bones. Try and bring yourself back towards the center. Let's release that right foot. You can either come to the inner edge of the left foot or up onto the left thigh, or you might even set a block beside the right, or on the inside, and bring the foot onto the edge of the block and let that right knee open out to the side. So just let that knee open and support the right knee with the right hand. And I'm going to ask you to press the right knee into the right hand and then release. Once again, press the knee into the hand and try and create as much force as you can with the leg. And release. And one final time, stretch, press, press, press. And release. Stretch the right foot out in front of you, point the toes up towards the ceiling. You might position your blocks to allow you to support the upper body as you fold forward. Before we begin to fold, point the toes straight up to the ceiling and flex the toes strongly in towards the shin. So the toes are really flexing in towards the shin. If you have a tendency to hyperextend your knee, bring an ever so small break to the front knee. Otherwise, see if you can firm up all the muscles all the way along the front of the leg. But we're also firming those at the back as well. So if you reach around and feel the hamstrings, they'll be very firm and very engaged. Inhale, fold forward. Keeping the spine nice and long. Let's stretch the body forward over the legs, allowing all the muscles at the back body and that back body chain to release. Breathe into this stretch. Inhale, come up. Our hands meet overhead. And exhale the hands back to heart center. Draw the right foot in and extend the left foot out. Again, first of all, pointing those toes straight up towards the ceiling. Pressing them sharply into the floor. And then folding forward over that extended leg. Remember, try to avoid rounding the spine. Keep the spine nice and long as we fold. And hopefully you're feeling a fairly strong stretch all the way down the back of the leg. Maybe going up through the pelvis, through the hip, coming up the left side of the back, all the way up. Let's inhale, come up, draw that left foot in. Now, interlace the fingers in the non-dominant interlace. Draw the left knee towards the left shoulder. And either release it onto the opposite thigh, the floor, or a block. Let the left knee open out towards the side. And notice particularly if you, whatever spot that left foot is in, try not to let the ankle collapse towards the floor. So Try to keep that foot aligned, or the ankle equidistant on both sides. Press the left knee into the left hand and press, and then release, and see if you can notice a slight opening in that leg towards the side as you press in and release. And once more, press and release. So let's now set our block aside. Bring the blocks back again. They're just there to provide you an option if the fingertips don't reach the floor. Raise the arms overhead. Exhale, tilt the pelvis forward and fold over the legs, bringing the tip fingers to the floor or the block. Inhale, come all the way up. Our hands meet overhead and draw the hands back to heart center. Let's find our therapy balls. And a good time to grab a drink, finish off your coffee. We'll do some work with the therapy balls. So let's, first of all, just before we start our work with the therapy ball, just come back to our seated mountain pose. And for comparison purposes, as we move through our work, our fascia release work, just take a quick scan of the legs and the lower body and notice where things are at right now. So having set that benchmark, bring the right big toe onto the ball and keeping the heel, the right heel on the floor, begin to roll the ball, roll along the toe bases going from side to side. Bring the ball to the center of the toe bases and let the foot wrap around the toe bases. Or bring the ball underneath the mound of the big toe and trace a line all the way down the foot to the heel, and then trace back towards the base of the big toe. Let's move now to the first little toe. Follow the bones of the foot, going forward and back. Middle toe now. Trace, go forward and back. And try and make all of your movements here very intentional. So by that I mean we're not just rolling the ball forward and back to get through this part of our work. We're observing what happens as the ball moves up and down the foot. And similarly, with that same attention to detail, let's roll the ball around various parts of the foot. Notice where you're finding spots that need a little extra attention. On those spots that may need some extra attention, stop there for a moment, press in. And now let's pick up the ball. And let's begin our work on the legs by coming to that inner branch of the calf muscles. So beginning working in the same direction as the calf muscle. Massaging it, trying to get that alignment of the fascia tissue. And now, if you can, begin to work across the muscle fibers. Let's just briefly come to that front quadrant of the shin and sort of working on that space towards the interior of the shin bone. So this is the location of a lot of the small muscles that move the toes. And now let's move again, locate that center line of the shin and move to the muscles on the outside. So a bit more muscular region in that front quadrant of the shin. Again, you might move the toes a little bit here. And now let's move back to that fourth quadrant, sort of from the midline of the outside of the and through to the center of the calf on the outside. So again, working up and down. Work across. And again, you may find a spot that needs some momentary special attention. Now let's come up onto the thigh. So we're going to start to work along the quads, those muscles in the front part of the thigh. Moving along, front to back. Or from knee to up to the hip. Now, coming to the outside, let's go along that IT band. And now to get at those muscles, the hamstrings at the back, try angling the right leg across the seat of the chair. And let's lift. Put the put the ball between the hamstrings and the seat of the chair. And just, let's first of all, just let the weight of the leg press into the ball. And see if you can allow the muscles to gradually relax away, breathing into it and let them relax away from the pressure of the ball. Supporting the leg on the ball, trying to move the heel towards the center line of the body. Working the muscles that provide that inward rotation of the leg, and then come back to center and see if you can work muscles that do the outward rotation of the leg. So perhaps move the ball a little bit up and down. Try it in some different spots. And then raise and lower the leg for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Come back to remove the ball. Just come back into center. Come back to our seated mountain pose. And now thinking back to that first benchmark we set when we came to seated mountain, before we did any fascia release work, compare the side that you've worked with the side that you've not worked yet. And just notice if it feels a bit different. Particularly notice the connection that might exist between the feet and the floor. And for each of you, it's going to be a bit different. But just try and observe what the particular effect was for you. So now let's come to the foot that hasn't had any attention now. And let's place the therapy ball underneath the mound of the big toe and just roll from side to side. Bring the ball to the center of the toe mounds and let the foot wrap around the ball. Come to the base of the big toe and roll the ball back to the heel. Go all the way up to the toe. And let's move to the next toe, forward and back. Middle toe, forward and back. Next toe, forward and back. Little toe, forward and back. Again, moving with intention. And then roll the ball. Try and cover the whole base of the foot, just moving it randomly. Noticing the spots where maybe there's a bit of tightness. And let's maybe concentrate, stop for a moment on those points. Again, let the foot wrap about the ball. And now let's come up, and again, as we did with the other side, we'll begin with that inner quadrant of the calf muscles. So we're on the inner part of the calf muscle. And again, don't be afraid to make that take the pressure to a level of some discomfort. Working up and down. Again, finding those spots in the calf muscles where there maybe feel like a bit of tightness and congestion, concentrating the pressure into those areas for a moment or two. And when you're concentrating the pressure, can you use the exhale breath to release that tension? Think of the muscle melting as you exhale. Now let's go across the calf. Now let's come into the inner quadrant of the shin, working up and down. Move to the outer quadrant of the shin. Again, perhaps move the toes as you're working this area. And finally, let's come to the outer quadrant of the calf. And don't be afraid to use some fairly firm pressure. You can go as well as working in the direction of the muscle fibers, you can work across. Again, not just rolling the ball lightly, but rolling the ball with a real intention to understand what might be going on in those areas of the body. Let's come up onto the thigh. Now working along that outside region of the thigh. Working here. Well, I'm sorry. First, we'll begin on the quads. And again, you can work either in the direction of the muscle, so working parallel with the muscle fibers. Concentrating in a particular area if it's necessary. And really thinking about the underlying muscles as we move through this. Trying to visualize the muscle fibers, trying to visualize what might be going on in that area. Rolling across the muscles. And stopping if you feel a particular an area that sort of snaps from one side to the other with the ball. Now, let's work along that IT band, sort of starting right up in the hip, working along. And now let's angle the thigh along and place the ball behind, between the thigh and the seat of the chair. And just try it. Let it rest in one position for a few moments. Perhaps move it a little bit. Breathe here. Let's lift and lower the leg now for 1, 2, 3, 4. In moving that leg with intention. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and 12. Perhaps just try one more spot. And let's come back to our seated mountain. We'll just finish off our fascia work with a little bit of just a brief bit of work on our shoulders. So take the ball, take it across. Let's begin. You can start those muscles that sweep up the back into the shoulder. And see if you can just sound. Oh, sorry about that. My cameraman wasn't watching what was going on. And start getting right into this area right here. You'll know when you feel that area where the muscles are in the back. Now, let's just come over to the other side. Working deep into, trying to get into those muscles, concentrating on those areas where you notice some tightness. And let's release. This may not work for everybody, but if you're able to now, let's just back up and just see. Let's take take a ball and just bring it onto the edge of the shoulder blade and see if you can find the edge of the shoulder blade and the back of your chair. So make sure you're not on the bones of the spine. Just try and work some of those muscles around the lower edge of the shoulder blades. If you have a vacant wall space, you might also come to the wall and lean into the ball on the wall. Let's take the ball, now move to the opposite side. And find the ball. I'm going to come back to seated here. So I had a chance now to try and work quite a few different, or the legs, a little bit of the shoulders and the back today. Let's come back to our seated mountain pose. And just do, once again, repeat that scan of the body, observing any of the areas that might have changed, observing how you feel perhaps connected to the floor, connected to the seat of the chair. Observe if the breath is flowing any differently now than it did at the start of the class. Let's raise the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale, rise halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And take the right hand or left hand to the outside of the right thigh. And let's twist towards our right side. And again, think back to that first twist we did of the day. And see if the body might be moving any differently as we twist now towards the right side. Inhale here, exhale, come through center, take the right hand to the outside of the left thigh and twist left. Breathe here. Inhale, exhale, come back to center, place the hands on the thighs, and we'll do a cat-cow breath here. And exhale, round back. Inhale, come back up to center. And now let's prepare ourselves for a brief final relaxation. Grab a drink. We're not going to be too long in final relaxation today, so maybe skip adding the extra clothing. Close the eyes. And carry that same intention into our relaxation. The intention to be aware of what's going on in our body, but now focus on the relaxation of the body. Let the breath slow, the body relax, and the mind finds stillness. Slide ourselves back towards the front of our chair. Come back to our seated mountain pose. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale the hands back to heart center. Thank ourselves for making time for this practice today. Thank each other for sharing our practice. And thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice today. Namaste.